Students, today we are going to learn about regional cooperation. What is the meaning of a region? A region could be any geographical area. For example, all countries around Pacific Ocean or all countries around the Indian Ocean. So all these countries are in mostly similar situations. So they come together, they make a cooperation to work together on different topics. It could be climate change, it could be trade, it could be defense, it could be all of this and so on. So when all of these countries come together to an agreement that we are going to work together in a united way towards some goals, that is called regional cooperation. So in the world today, you cannot really survive alone as a country. There are many problems for which everyone has to work together. So under these circumstances, regional cooperation is necessary. But you all may say, ma'am, we already have the UNO in which every country is a part almost. So why can't the UNO just resolve all problems? Now, I have a simple question to ask all of you. If you have a small problem, like street lights are not working on your road, will you go to the Prime Minister of the country to solve the problem? No, right? You solve it at a local level. Similarly, you don't have to go at a global level to resolve some problems. You can solve it regionally. That's why regional cooperation organizations. The most important ones we will be learning in detail. So students, because there are so many regional cooperations you will be studying about, you might find it very tough to remember so many details. I'll tell you a very simple way. You should know which are all the countries, and you should know small details like is there a secretariat, is there any department, and so on. After that, you should know what is the goal, what are the aims of this regional cooperation organization. And most of the times you should just know the full form, like we have SAARC, we have ASEAN, you should know the full forms. Okay students, now let's begin learning. Commonwealth of Nations. So from the beginning of the 20th century, a lot of these countries started gaining independence. When they became independent, they became a part of this group called British Commonwealth of Nations. Later, they removed the word British and they just called it the Commonwealth of Nations. In which year was it founded? It was founded in the year 1926. When did India become a member? India became a member after gaining independence. If you all would have noticed, they keep holding sports events like Commonwealth Nations sports events. You all may have noticed that. So who is the head of Commonwealth of Nations? The King of England remains the nominal head of this organization. How many members are there? There are 54 members. So 54 countries are members of Commonwealth of Nations. The head office is in London. It's very easy to remember. If the King of England is the head office has to be in London, since this is related to Britain and the colonies or the countries who were colonies of the British. The Prime Minister, Finance Ministers and External Affairs Ministers of the member states participate in the meeting. Who is our Prime Minister? Concurrently, it is Narendra Modi ji. Our Finance Minister at the moment is Nirmala Sitharaman and our External Affairs Minister is Subramaniam Jaishankar. So from India, these three members participate in the meetings of the Commonwealth of Nations, and from every country, the Prime Minister, the External Affairs Minister and the Finance Minister take part in the meetings. What are the aims? Students, from examination point of view, the aims become very, very important. Upholding the values of democracy, protection of freedom, poverty alleviation, securing world peace, aiding the development of sports, science and art. It also aims at improving the cooperation among the membership states. It's very simple, students, like world peace, development of sports, arts and culture, poverty alleviation, democracy, and so on. So these are very simple things. We know when many countries of the world come together on a large scale, these are the goals they should aim to achieve. Now let's look at the second one, SAARC, very, very important. South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. Many times across the years they have asked, write the full form of SAARC. When was it founded? It was founded in 1985. Do you need to know all the names of the states who are a part of SAARC? Yes, you should know. Now let's learn the 8 states. Students, if you think of India and all of the neighboring countries of India, students, it's very easy to remember if you think from the point of view of the neighbors of India. India along with its neighbors, only China is not there. All neighbors of India other than China. So we have Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and then when you come towards the south, we have Sri Lanka and Maldives. So this will be a very easy way for you to remember. See the map and you will know. There is no China. Note it, there is no China in SAARC. What is the main aim of this? It is to foster mutual ties along with economic progress and cultural progress. So they want to develop trustworthy relationship amongst all the neighbors and grow economically and also grow culturally. We all have such a rich cultural heritage. So we want to grow. In order to achieve this goal, they have made numerous task groups, technical groups and permanent committees. So these task groups, these committees keep meeting and they keep doing a lot of activities to see to it economic progress and cultural progress is achieved. But mutual suspicion and difference of opinion among the member countries is hampering the progress in SAARC. If you notice, we've had so many wars with Pakistan. We have so much of conflict even with Sri Lanka. So there is a doubt that is there all the time between the countries that is preventing the organization to grow or to achieve success. The policy that all decisions need to be taken unanimously. Students, what is the meaning of unanimously? Let's say there is a matter that has come to SAARC and a decision has to be made. All member countries have to say yes. Only then the decision can be taken. Even if one country tells no, then the decision cannot be made. So that is the meaning of unanimously, where it's not majority but 100% of the members must give their agreement or approval. So this leads to a lot of hardships in bringing decisions to be made really quickly. There are numerous burning issues and differences among the member countries. It is still a good platform to resolve difference of opinions. So whenever there is a difference of opinion, like for example, let's say some countries would want to support climate change. Some countries may be supporting growth. They may say it's okay if some pollution happens, but we will want to support economic growth. So this is a platform where they can sit and discuss and solve these issues. So it still serves as a platform where they can come, talk, discuss and resolve so many problems that are very, very big and important. There are conferences. Conferences means there are meetings where all the members come together, workshops and training programs have been taken place for the representatives of these countries. On what topics do they hold these conferences, workshops and meetings? On topics like science and technology, agriculture and so on. India has played a very active role in SAARC. Where is the head office? It is in Nepal. Now let's talk about the third regional cooperation organization, European Union. Students, if you would have noticed, after the Second World War, there were so many countries in Europe. But if you compare the size of a country and its population, each country may not be even as big as Karnataka. So, you know, governing such small countries with such small population, it makes it not very easy. So, they all came together to also in a way to avoid any further wars. They all came together, and as a continent they are called European Union. They made an agreement. 27 European countries are a part of European Union. And another very good thing they did in European Union is they use common currency. It's like when you are in India, you're using rupee. When you go to China, you're using yen. But in entire Europe, all member countries of the European Union, they all use the same currency, euro. It was founded in the year 1992. So the agreement that they signed to form the European Union is called the Matrich Agreement, Agreement of Matrich. What does it provide? It provides for a common market. Students, when we are exporting goods from India to Sri Lanka or India to China, we have to pay a customs tax. But in the entire European Union, they made a common market. They don't have any kind of taxes for import and export within the European Union. That is the meaning of common market. Common currency, you already know, same currency is used in all the countries of Europe. So it's not like if you go from one country to another, you have to get a new currency for transactions. It's the same currency. And common agriculture and trade policy. What is the meaning of common agriculture and trade policy? Students, you would have heard in India, they give minimum support price for some crops. The government gives MSP. What is this? What is the meaning of MSP? Say for instance, you grow onions and the government has announced 50 rupees as MSP for onions. It means whether anybody in the market will buy your onions at 50 rupees or no, the government will definitely buy it for 50 rupees. That is the meaning of minimum support price. So that is an agricultural policy that the government makes. Like that, policies that they make, the agricultural policies and trade policies, they make for the entire European Union, not just for one country of Europe, but for all the countries. So they are united even in trade and policies. Now, they have divisions, like how in our government we have a Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, judiciary, they also have divisions in the European Union. What are they? 1, there is a committee. 2, there is a commission. 3, there is a European Parliament. 4, there is a European Court of Justice. The European Union resembles a federal government structure. I already told you all. Central government, state government, federal government structure, similar is their structure. As the founders asserted, this strives for international peace and democracy in the world. So what is the main goal of European Union? International peace and democracy. This seems to be the continuation of earlier European Economic Community. So before European Union was formed, there was this European Economic Community. The member states have given away some of their sovereign powers to the Union willingly. What is the meaning of sovereignty? What are sovereign powers? So, India is said to be a sovereign country. What is the meaning of this? If India wants to go at war with some country, make peace, sign agreements of diplomacy or anything, India is the alone decision maker. There is no power above India who can come and tell the Indian government, do like this, do like that. We are independent in our decision making. So, India is called a sovereign country. But in European Union, the countries who are a part of the European Union, they have surrendered some of their powers. Like for example, Germany and Netherlands, both are a part of the European Union. But if Germany wants to go and wage a war. It cannot make this decision alone. The entire European Union makes these decisions in a united way. So, this is the meaning of when they say some of their sovereign powers have been given to European Union. So, European Union decides these things for the entire 27 countries who are a part of European Union. Now students, we will learn about Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, very important. The full form, again, just like how SAARC is asked so many times, they ask the full form of ASEAN so many times, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. When we go to Southeast Asia, what are the nations there? Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, so on. So when was it founded in? 1967. What are all the countries? Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines and Thailand. These were the founding members of this association. At present, there are 10 countries who are the members. What is the main aim? Again, we come back. What is the aim? Why was this association made? To foster mutual trade. Students, notice trade, cooperation, aiding social and economic ties, achieving progress in cultural, technological, scientific and administrative fields of the member countries. So, most important, they wanted to achieve cooperation in trade. Second, economic and cultural progress. And then they wanted to achieve progress in science and technology and in the fields of administration. Is it a military association? Is this a military cooperation? No, it's not a military cooperation. India is accommodative, it is not yet a member country. It represents 9% of the world's population. Now, let's go towards Africa, the Organization of African Unity. This association of African countries was founded in 1963. Students, dates are not very important, but for SAARC, for ASEAN, it is important. For others, it is not so important. The newly independent African countries entered into different agreements in the starting. So let's say in the beginning there were just 4 to 5 African countries that were independent. So they made an agreement. Then later some more countries got independence. Then they made an agreement. But eventually they all got united and they formed the Organization of African Unity. Later, like I said, they merged all of these regional agreements into one and they formed one big united Organization of African Unity. This asserts the sovereign power of all the member countries. So same like how European Union has the sovereign decision making of Europe, this has the sovereign decision making of Africa. What is its aim? What is the aim? To establish equality, freedom and unity among all the African countries. The members, they are committed to raise voice against new imperialism of developed nations. What is the meaning of new imperialism? So students, we saw that before these countries gained independence, they were all under the British rule or under the French rule or under the Dutch rule. So they were colonies. So they were ruled. So this policy where a mother country comes and makes colonies is called imperialism. So developed nations used to come and make these underdeveloped nations as their colonies. So that was called the old imperialism. All the members of this association are very committed to raise voice against imperialism by the developed nations. What is imperialism, students? Like how the developed nations like United Kingdom, France, they used to make colonies and exploit these countries, like even India was under the British rule. They are very strongly raising voice against such policies. All African countries who accept the charter of this organization are free to become its members. What all does this organization have? It has a committee of member states, heads and the heads of the organization. 2, ministers committee. 3, mediation and reconciliation committee. What is the meaning of mediation? Middleman. If there are 2 countries who want to talk, they can come to this association and they can get the conversation going. They can mediate. This organization mediates or becomes the middleman for the conversation. They also reconcile. Let's say there are two African countries who have a conflict. Instead of going to war, they come here, they sit and they talk to resolve problems. This organization has functioned very well against apartheid. What is apartheid? Racial discrimination, that white is superior over the black race. So it has fought successfully against apartheid, new imperialism and many other threats to African countries. Students, this brings us to the end of the chapter and to the end of regional cooperation.